Keys jingle in Malik's hand as he approaches the glass doors. The streetlight flickers, painting sharp lines across his briefcase. A police cruiser pulls up, tires crunching. Officers Holloway and Rourke step out, boots heavy on the pavement. Holloway's, voices clipped. Evening, let's see some ID. Malik pauses, grip tightening on his keys. Is there a problem? Rourke shifts, her flashlight sliding over his jacket. Just a check. You know how it goes. Malik's breath is slow, measured. He pulls out his wallet, the leather stiff. Holloway takes the ID, eyes narrow. Malik Turner, this is your building? Yes. Malik's tone is calm. Holloway lets out a dry, short laugh. Sure it is. Above, the security camera's red light blinks. Rourke's radio hisses, static filling the space. Malik stands steady. I have the deed if you need it. Holloway steps closer, his hand hovering near his holster. We'll see about that. Malik's hand moves to his briefcase. Holloway's stance grows tense. Rourke's grip on the flashlight tightens. The briefcase opens with a click. Malik lifts out a folder, the deed's gold letters catching the light. Holloway scans the document, jaw tight. Rourke leans in, her badge catching the glow. A distant siren rises and falls, mixing with the hum of the camera. Malik stands still, the deed between them. The moment hangs. Holloway's suspicion, Rourke's unease, Malik's steady resolve. Across the street, a bystander quietly lifts a phone, recording every detail. The night holds its breath, waiting for what comes next. Holloway's flashlight beam sweeps over Malik's suit, pausing at the cufflinks. Malik stands tall, his hands steady by his sides. Rourke shifts her stance, glancing at Holloway, her jaw tight. The air feels thick, every breath measured. Holloway's tone is sharp. You say you own this place? Malik nods, voice even. That's right. Holloway's lips pressed together, a hint of disbelief. You got keys, but that doesn't mean much. Malik meets his gaze, not blinking. I have the deed, too. Rourke's eyes flick to the briefcase, then back to Malik. She clears her throat, voice softer. Are you here late often? Malik answers. Most nights. It's my business. Holloway circles him, boots echoing. Funny. Never seen you here before. Malik's grip on the folder tightens, but his face stays calm. He glances at Rourke, who looks away, uncomfortable. Holloway leans in, lowering his voice. You sure you're not waiting for someone? Malik's reply is quiet, but firm. I'm waiting for you to believe me. A car passes, headlights flashing, across the glass. Rourke steps back, rubbing her arm, uncertain. Holloway's hand hovers near his belt, but he doesn't move closer. Malik's heart pounds, but he doesn't show it. He stands his ground, letting Holloway's doubt bounce off him. Rourke finally speaks, voice barely above a whisper. Maybe we should check the deed. Holloway hesitates, then nods. Fine. Show us. Malik opens the folder, sliding the document. Forward. Holloway's fingers tremble as he takes it. The camera above records every movement, every glance. The power in the moment shifts, just a little. Malik kneels to his briefcase, the zipper's rasp cutting through the quiet. Holloway's hand hovers near his belt, eyes narrowed. Rourke's breath catches, her grip on the flashlight tightening. Malik moves deliberately, refusing to rush. He lifts out a folder, the deed's gold seal glinting as he holds it up. Holloway's fingers twitch. Slowly, he warns, voice rough. Malik keeps his movements measured, his gaze steady. The folder is heavy in his hand, but his resolve is heavier. Rourke leans in, watching every detail. Malik's voice is low, calm. This is my proof. The building is mine. He extends the document, arm unwavering. Holloway takes it, his jaw clenched. He scans the paper, eyes darting over the embossed lettering and signatures. A muscle jumps in his cheek. Rourke steps closer, reading over his shoulder, her brow furrowed. Malik stands silent, letting the weight of the moment settle. The streetlight flickers, casting shifting patterns across the sidewalk. Holloway flips the page, searching for any flaw, any reason to doubt. A car door slams in the distance. Rourke glances up, then back down at the deed. She exhales, the tension in her shoulders easing just a fraction. Holloway finally looks up, his expression uncertain. "Where'd you get this?" Malik's reply is quiet. "From the city records. It's all legal." Rourke nods, almost to herself. Holloway hesitates, then hands the deed back, his confidence shaken. Malik accepts it, his hand steady. The camera above catches every detail. The trembling hands, the shifting power. Malik's proof has spoken louder than any argument. The lobby. Doors swing open, and Malik leads the officers inside. Their footsteps echo on the polished marble, each step sharp in the empty space. Holloway glances down, catching his own reflection, then quickly looks away. Rourke lingers near the entrance, her fingers tapping the radio at her hip. Malik pauses by the security desk, setting the deed down. The marble floor gleams, reflecting his face and the officer's tense posture. For a moment, Malik sees his father's image superimposed on his own, a memory of handcuffs and pleading outside a hardware store years ago. Holloway studies the deed again, his brow furrowed. "You really own all this?" Malik's voice is steady. "Every inch." Rourke glances at the security camera, its lens fixed on them, the red light blinking. She shifts her weight, uncertain. The radio on Rourke's belt crackles, a dispatcher's voice breaking the tension. "Unit 12, status check," Rourke answers, her tone clipped. "We're inside, verifying." Malik's jaw tightens, but he doesn't move. He stands in the center of the lobby, surrounded by cold stone and old wounds. Holloway's hand rests on the desk, knuckles white. He looks at Malik, then at the deed, then away. The power in the room has shifted, but no one says it out loud. Malik's eyes linger on the marble, the surface reflecting power, but never pain. Tonight, he stands where his father could not, unbowed, unbroken. Rourke finally exhales, the tension in her shoulders easing. Holloway says nothing, but his silence is heavy. Malik picks up the deed, his grip firm. The camera records it all, the polished floor bearing witness to a quiet reckoning. The lobby doors swing open, and Malik leads the officers inside. Their footsteps echo on the polished marble, each step sharp in the empty space. Holloway glances down, catching his own reflection, then quickly looks away. Rourke lingers near the entrance, her fingers tapping the radio at her hip. Malik pauses by the security desk, setting the deed down. The marble floor gleams, reflecting his face and the officer's tense posture. For a moment, Malik sees his father's image superimposed on his own, a memory of handcuffs and pleading outside a hardware store years ago. Holloway studies the deed again, his brow furrowed. "You really own all this?" Malik's voice is steady. "Every inch." Rourke glances at the security camera, its lens fixed on them, the red light blinking. She shifts her weight, uncertain. The radio on Rourke's belt crackles, a dispatcher's voice breaking the tension. "Unit 12, status check," Rourke answers, her tone clipped. "We're inside, verifying." Malik's jaw tightens, but he doesn't move. He stands in the center of the lobby, surrounded by cold stone and old wounds. Holloway's hand rests on the desk, knuckles white. He looks at Malik, then at the deed, then away. The power in the room has shifted, but no one says it out loud. Malik's eyes linger on the marble, the surface reflecting power, but never pain. Tonight he stands where his father could not, unbowed, unbroken. Rourke finally exhales, the tension in her shoulders easing. Holloway says nothing, but his silence is heavy. Malik picks up the deed, his grip firm. The camera records it all, the polished floor bearing witness to a quiet reckoning. Malik stands in the center of the lobby, deed in hand. Holloway's jaw is tight, eyes darting from the document to Malik's face. Rourke lingers by the entrance, her posture uncertain. The security camera's red light glows, recording every detail. Outside, a bystander lifts a phone, lens steady, on the glass. Holloway's voice is barely above a whisper. "You really own it?" Malik meets his gaze. "I do." Rourke shifts, her hand brushing the badge on her chest. She looks at Malik, then at Holloway, doubt flickering across her face. The lobby is filled with a charged stillness. Malik's breathing is slow, measured. Holloway's confidence wavers, his grip on authority slipping. Rourke's eyes linger, on the deed, searching for reassurance. Outside, the bystander's phone captures the moment. Malik's quiet certainty, Holloway's faltering stance, Rourke's hesitance. The street is silent, except for the faint hum of traffic and the soft click of the phone's record button. Malik holds the deed up, steady and unyielding. Holloway's shoulders sag, the fight draining from his posture. Rourke looks away, her jaw clenched. The camera above freezes the scene. Malik's calm, Holloway's unraveling, Rourke's awakening doubt. The bystander lowers the phone, eyes wide, sensing the importance of what's just unfolded. Malik doesn't move, letting the moment speak for itself. The lobby feels different now, the weight of history and truth settling into the marble. Later, this image will spread, a single frame capturing a quiet storm. But for now, the night is still, holding its breath, waiting for what comes next. Rain patters against the window as young Malik stands outside the hardware store, his small hand gripping his mother's coat. Sirens fade in the distance. James Turner, Malik's father, stands in front of a police cruiser, wrists locked in cuffs. The manager leans in the doorway, arms folded, a faint grin on his lips. James's voice cracks. "I paid for that drill. Check the receipt." The officer shakes his head, not meeting his eyes. "We have to follow up. Store policy." Malik's mother pulls him closer, her voice trembling. "Don't watch, Malik. Look at me." Malik's gaze lingers on his father's face, searching for answers, for justice. The officer pats down James's pockets, pulling out a crumpled slip. He glances at it, then at the manager, who shrugs, unconcerned. "He was acting suspicious," the manager mutters, eyes cold. James tries to catch Malik's eye. "It's going to be all right, son. You hear me?" Malik nods, but his voice catches. "Yes, Dad." A neighbor across the street pauses, groceries in hand, watching the scene unfold. No one steps forward. The world keeps moving. The officer unlocks the cuffs, tossing them into the cruiser. "You're free to go, but watch yourself next time." James rubs his wrists, shoulders squared. He takes Malik's hand, squeezing gently. "Let's go home." Malik's mother wipes her eyes, jaw set. She glances back at the manager, who's already turned away. Years later, that moment hangs in Malik's office, framed beside his degree. A memory, a lesson, a promise. Never let them look away again. The classroom hums with quiet chatter. Malik, 15, sits near the window, pencil tapping against his notebook. The teacher, Mrs. Ellison, glances down the roster, then stops at Malik's name. She walks over, her heels clicking, a faint smile on her lips. She leans in, voice syrupy. "Are you sure you're in the right class, Malik?" He looks up, startled. "Yes, ma'am, I'm supposed to be here." She lifts his test, perfect score circled in red. "Impressive, just checking." Her gaze lingers a moment too long, then she walks away, leaving Malik's cheeks burning. A boy in the next row nudges his friend, whispering, "Guess he's the exception." The friend snickers, eyes darting away when Malik glances over. Malik straightens his papers, jaw tight. Mrs. Ellison stands at the board explaining a calculus problem. Malik follows every step, but her words blur, replaced by the echo of her question. He scribbles the answer, hands steady, but his mind races. A girl at the back raises her hand. "Can you go over that again?" Mrs. Ellison nods, but her eyes flick to Malik as if expecting him to stumble. He doesn't. The bell rings. Students gather their things. Malik lingers, packing up slowly. Mrs. Ellison approaches, softer now. You did well today? He nods, voice low. Thank you. She hesitates, then moves on. Outside, Malik walks to his locker, shoulders squared. He glances at his test, the red circle bright against the white paper. He tucks it away, a silent promise to himself, never let them question his place again. Malik sits at his desk, late evening light spilling across stacks of old HR files. He flips through folders searching for a missing contract when a crumpled letter falls out. He smooths the page, reading Carlos's handwriting, shaky and slanted. I can't do it anymore, the letter begins. They trailed me like I'd steal the floor I cleaned. Malik's breath catches. He remembers Carlos, always early, always quiet, eyes darting to the corners whenever a supervisor walked by. The letter continues. Every night someone watched. Sometimes it was the security guard, sometimes a manager, sometimes just a shadow. In the hall, I started to wonder if I was invisible or just not trusted. Malik's mind flashes to his own late nights, the echo of footsteps behind him, the way the guard's gaze lingered a little too long. He presses his palm to the page, feeling the weight of Carlos's words. A knock at the door. Malik's assistant, Gloria, pokes her head in. You okay? He nods, folding the letter carefully. Just found something I shouldn't have missed. Gloria steps inside, glancing at the letter. Carlos was a good person. Never caused trouble. Malik meets her eyes. He never got the chance to. She nods, lips pressed tight, and leaves. Malik sits in the quiet, the hum of the air conditioner, suddenly loud. He places the letter on top of the stack, a silent promise to remember. He looks out the window, city lights blinking. Another story, another wound. But tonight he's collecting them all. No more letting them slip away. The office is empty except for the faint buzz of Malik's computer. He scrolls through his inbox, eyes narrowing at a string of flagged messages. Each subject line is blunt. Blackmail in suit, 9:12 p.m. Suspicious loitering, main lobby. Malik clicks open the first email, reading the terse note from Security. Unusual activity. Please review. He clicks through more. Every report is about someone who looks like him. Different names, same suspicion. The attached images show black employees entering the building, sometimes just waiting for a ride, sometimes heading to their offices. Malik's own face appears in one, the timestamp matching a night he stayed late to finish a proposal. He prints, each message, the stack growing thicker. The printer rattles, spitting out page after page. Malik gathers them, jaw set. He lays them across his desk, a patchwork of doubt and accusation. A cleaning staff member, Anna, passes by the open door. She pauses, glancing at the papers. That's a lot of reports, she says softly. Malik nods, voice flat. Too many for one building. Anna hesitates, then adds, It's always the same people, isn't it? He looks up, meeting her gaze. It is. Anna gives a small, understanding nod before moving on. Malik returns to the emails, highlighting names, circling dates. The evidence is clear, the pattern impossible to ignore. He leans back, running a hand over his face. The office feels colder now, the hum of the printer replaced by the weight of what he's found. Malik knows this isn't just paperwork, it's the story of who is trusted and who is always questioned. Tasha stands by the reception desk, her shift nearly over. The lobby is quiet, lights dimmed for the night. She clutches her coffee cup, knuckles pale against the ceramic. Malik approaches, a stack of reports in hand. He stops beside her, voice gentle. Are you heading out soon? Tasha nods, glancing at the security monitor. Yeah, I wait until the guard does his rounds. Malik raises an eyebrow. Why? She hesitates, lowering her voice. They always ask questions after dark. Not to everyone. Just people like us. Malik sets the reports on the counter. How often does it happen? Tasha's fingers tap the cup, her gaze fixed on the floor. Almost every week, sometimes more. I try to leave before it gets late, but you know how it is. He nods, understanding in his eyes. I do. Tasha's breath shakes. Last month they called me back in to check my badge. Said it was just to be safe. I've worked here for 3 years. Malik's jaw tightens. Did you report it? She shakes her head. Didn't seem worth it? They never listen. He slides a folder toward her. This time they will. Tasha looks up, a flicker of hope in her eyes. She nods, clutching the folder to her chest. The security camera's light blinks, catching her small, relieved smile as she heads for the door. Malik watches her go, the unspoken weight of her words settling over him. He adds her story to the growing file, determined not to let it fade. Malik steps into the break room, the smell of stale coffee lingering. He spots the security guard's notebook on the table, pages dog-eared and covered in hurried scribbles. He flips through, eyes scanning the entries. Midnight checks. Focus on black visitors. Note the time. Malik's jaw tenses. He snaps a photo. Of one page, the flash briefly illuminating the room. The guard Marcus enters, pausing mid-step. Forgot my notebook, he says, voice casual but eyes wary. Malik closes the notebook, handing it over. Interesting reading. Marcus shifts his weight, glancing at the exit. Just keeping track. It's what they want. Malik studies. Him. Who's they? Marcus shrugs, looking away. Management. They say to watch for anything unusual. Malik's tone is flat. Unusual means us? Marcus hesitates, then nods. That's how it's always been. I'll just write it down. Malik pockets his phone, the photo saved. Maybe it's time to write something different. Marcus's lips press together, uncertain. He takes the notebook, tucking it under his arm before leaving the room. Malik stands alone, the hum of the vending machine filling the quiet. He scrolls through the photo, the words clear in the harsh light of his screen. Each entry is another piece of the puzzle, another story to add to the file. He leaves the break room, determination sharpening his steps. The system's instructions are written in ink, but Malik's resolve is set in stone. Malik sits in front of the security monitors, eyes fixed on the screen. He clicks through footage, each clip a new face, a new moment. A black woman in a blazer is stopped at the entrance, her bag searched while others walk by unbothered. A young man in scrubs is asked for ID twice in one night. Malik's jaw tightens with every rewind. He edits the clips together, each timestamp, flashing in the corner. A man's laughter fades as a guard approaches, his smile replaced by a wary glance. A woman's shoulders slump as she's questioned for the 3rd time this month. Malik watches his own image appear, pausing, badge out, waiting for approval to enter his own building. He adds each scene to a growing timeline. The playlist title, Patterns. Every clip is a quiet accusation, a record of who is trusted and who is always doubted. Gloria enters, carrying a stack of files. She pauses, watching the footage over his shoulder. That's a lot of stops, she murmurs. Malik nods, not taking his eyes off the screen. It's not random. It never was. Gloria sets the files down, her voice low. You're putting it all together? He nods again, determination in his voice. They need to see the whole pattern, not just pieces. She places a hand on his shoulder, a gesture of support. Malik keeps working, the sound of the next clip filling the room, a guard's question, a quiet answer, the heavy pause before the door opens. He saves the montage, the evidence undeniable. Tonight, the cameras have finally told the truth. Malik sits at his desk, a stack of complaint forms spread before him, each page stamped Resolved in bold ink. He reads them one by one. Unjustly detained, questioned for no reason, searched. After hours, margins filled with notes, no evidence, unfounded, situation handled. His eyes linger on the signatures, the quick loops of managers moving on. He flips through, finding Carlos's name. Claim dismissed. No further action. Malik's grip tightens. He lays the forms out side by side, a silent record of stories. Dismissed and pain minimized. Gloria enters, pausing at the door. She sees the papers, her brow furrowing. They never really look, do they? Malik shakes his head. They stamp it, file it, forget it. She steps closer, picking up a form. This one's from last year. I remember her crying in the lobby. Malik's voice is low. They all start to sound the same. But they're not. Gloria nods, placing the form back. What will you do? He gathers the papers, stacking them carefully. I'm making sure they're seen, all of them. The city lights flicker outside the window. Malik's hands move with purpose, arranging the forms into a single file. He presses the stack flat, determination in every motion. Gloria lingers, watching him work. It's about time someone did. Malik glances up, a quiet promise in his eyes. No more hiding. He slides the file into his bag, the weight of it grounding him. Each page is a voice, no longer buried in a drawer. Tonight, Malik refuses to let their stories be erased. Gloria stands in the doorway, folder in hand, watching Malik sort the stack of complaints. The air between them is heavy. She clears her throat, voice careful. You're going to file these again? Malik doesn't look up. Not just files. I want them to see the pattern. She steps closer, flipping through a few pages. You know what they'll do. Same as always. Stamp. It. Move on. He slides a form toward her. Not this time. Gloria hesitates, her fingers tracing the edge of the paper. You think they'll listen? Malik's reply is quiet, unwavering. They won't have a choice. She glances at the door, lowering her voice. You're making waves, Malik. People notice. He meets her gaze, steady. Good. Maybe it's time they did. Gloria sighs, a mix of worry and admiration. I'll help. Just be careful. Malik nods, a small smile flickering. I will. She places the folder on his desk, her hand lingering for a second. You're not alone in this. Malik looks at her, gratitude in his eyes. Thank you, Gloria. She turns to leave, pausing at the threshold. If you need anything, you know where to find me. He nods again, watching as she walks away, her footsteps fading down the hall. Malik sits, back, the folder heavy in his hands. The office is quiet, but the sense of resolve fills the space. He places the folder on top of the pile, ready for what comes next. Tonight, he's not just filing papers. He's building a case no one can ignore. The office is dark except for the glow of Malik's desk lamp. He arranges forms, emails, and photos in careful rows, each piece of evidence a chapter in the story. The city outside is quiet, windows glowing across the skyline. Malik pauses, glancing at his father's photo on the shelf. He whispers, Almost there. His voice is steady but tired. He adds the last complaint form to the lineup, then sits back, surveying the evidence. Every page, every timestamp, every name, none of it random. A soft knock at the door. Gloria peeks in, her face drawn. You need anything? Malik shakes his head. Just finishing up. She nods, offering a small, reassuring smile before disappearing down the corridor. Malik turns back to the desk. He stacks the documents, clips them together, and slides them into a folder marked Proof. His hands linger on the cover. He closes his eyes for a moment, breathing out the day's weight. The elevator dings down the hall, a guard's routine check. Malik listens to the footsteps fade, then returns to work. He opens his laptop, uploading scanned files to a secure drive. The progress bar crawls forward, each percent a step closer to daylight. He stands, stretching his back, then returns to the window. The city lights shimmer, distant but constant. Malik's reflection in the glass is clear, determined, unflinching. He turns off the lamp, leaving the folder in the center of his desk. The office is dark again, But the evidence remains, ready for the morning, ready for the world. Tonight, Malik's case is complete. He's done waiting for someone else to speak up. Across the street, a college student stands under the awning, phone in hand. She watches the lobby through rain-speckled glass, thumb hovering over the record button. Inside, Malik's voice carries measured, unwavering, "This is my building." Her camera zooms in, catching Holloway's clenched jaw, Rourke's shifting stance, the deed glinting in Malik's hand. A city bus rumbles past, headlights sweeping over the scene. The student presses a record. The phone captures every detail: Malik's calm, Holloway's doubt, Rourke's uncertainty. She bites her lip, heart pounding, knowing she's witnessing something important. Holloway's voice is muffled by the glass. "Where'd you get this deed?" Malik's answer is clear, even through the rain. "From city records, everything's legal." Rourke glances at the door, her fingers tapping the badge at her waist. The student shifts, trying to steady. Her shot. Water drips from her sleeve onto the phone, but she doesn't stop. The camera catches the moment Holloway's confidence falters, his eyes darting to Rourke for backup. Malik stands his ground, the document a quiet challenge. A car horn blares, nearby. The student flinches but keeps recording. She pans to the security camera above the lobby, its red light blinking. The world is watching, even if the officers pretend not to notice. She lowers the phone, breaths shaky. The video saves, time-stamped and sharp despite the rain. She glances at Malik through the glass. He doesn't see her, but she feels the weight of his resolve. The student wipes her screen, thumb poised over share. She hesitates, then uploads the video. The truth is out, silent but undeniable. Malik sits at his kitchen table, coffee cooling beside his laptop. His phone buzzes nonstop, notifications piling up. The video from last night is everywhere. Retweeted, shared, dissected. The hashtag "shocked rightful owner" flashes across his screen, trending at the top. Comments pour in. "Happened to me, too." "This is why we record." "Finally, someone stood their ground." Gloria calls, her voice breathless. "CNN wants you to live at 9. Local radio, too. Are you ready?" Malik leans back, rubbing his eyes. "Let it run. The story's bigger than me." She laughs, relief in her tone. "You did it, Malik. People are listening." He scrolls through messages. A former classmate writes, "Proud of you." A stranger sends, "You're not alone." The city outside wakes up, sunlight spilling into the room. Malik glances at his father's photo on the shelf, the gold frame catching the morning light. Across town, a teenager watches the video on his phone, eyes wide. His mother leans over, reading the comments, her hand resting on his shoulder. "See? It's changing," she whispers. Malik's inbox fills with interview requests, support, and stories from others who've been questioned, doubted, stopped. He closes his laptop, the noise of the world swirling around him. For a moment, he lets it all in. The anger, the hope, the shift. He stands, looking out the window at the city below. The hashtag glows on every screen, a beacon for those who have waited too long to be believed. Malik smiles, just a little. Today, the truth has a witness, and the world can't look away. Reporters fill the boardroom, cameras perched on tripods, wires snaking across the floor. The hum of whispered questions mixes with the whir of lenses adjusting focus. Malik's chair at the head table sits empty, a folder waiting in front of it. Holloway stands in the back, arms crossed, gaze fixed on the carpet. A technician tests, the microphone tapping it twice. We're live in 5. A board member straightens his tie, glancing at the clock. Another checks her phone, jaw clenched. The tension is thick, every movement careful. Gloria enters, scanning the room, then nods to Malik, who waits just outside the door. He exhales, smoothing his jacket. "You're up," she says quietly. Malik steps in, the room falling to a hush. The click of the closing door echoes, sealing the moment. He walks to the podium, folder in hand, and stands tall. The lights are bright, the air charged, A reporter raises a hand. Mr. Turner, are you ready to address the footage? Malik nods, voice steady. Yes, I'm here to show you everything. Holloway shifts, his jaw tight. The board members exchange glances, uncertainty flickering in their eyes. Gloria stands near the wall, her hands clasped, watching Malik closely. The technician signals, "You're live." Malik opens the folder, laying out the first document. The cameras zoom in, red lights blinking. He looks out at the crowd, meeting each gaze. This isn't just about me. It's about everyone who's ever been questioned. For belonging. Today, we start telling the truth. A hush settles, the only sound the faint click of a camera shutter. Malik's presence fills the room, calm but unyielding. The reckoning has begun. Malik stands at the podium, hands steady as he cues the screen behind him. The lights dim. A video plays. Malik, stopped at the lobby door, ID checked, questions fired. The next clip, another man, same routine. A woman in a business suit, her bag searched while others pass without a glance. A reporter murmurs, "That's 3 in 1 week." A board member leans forward, eyes narrowing. "Is this every night?" Malik nods, voice steady. "It's a pattern, not an accident." The footage rolls on. A guard stops a delivery driver, voice clipped. The driver's smile fades as he's questioned. Another clip. A young woman, keys in hand, is asked to wait while her ID is verified. She shifts, uncomfortable, glancing at the camera. Holloway sits rigid in the back, jaw clenched. His knuckles whiten as the evidence stacks up. Rourke, seated near the wall, looks down, her fingers twisting a pen. Malik's voice cuts through the quiet. This is what happens when suspicion is routine. This is what it looks like when trust is withheld. A board member drops his pen. The sound sharp in the still room. Another clears her throat uneasy. Gloria meets Malik's eyes, giving a small, encouraging nod. The video ends. The screen frozen on Malik's own face. Paused mid-question. He lets the image linger, letting the weight of it settle over the room. Malik looks at the board. Then, the reporters. It's not just one night. It's every night, for years. The room is silent. The truth impossible to ignore. The power has shifted, and everyone feels it. Malik lifts the deed from his folder, the gold seal catching the overhead lights. He holds it up for the cameras, voice unwavering. "This document proves I own the building." He places it on the podium, the paper crisp against the wood. Reporters lean forward, flashes popping as they capture every detail. A board member squints, reading the embossed lettering. "That's official?" Malik nods. "Filed with the city. Signed, sealed, and public record." Holloway's face tightens, eyes darting from the deed to Malik. His hands curl into fists on his lap. Rourke glances at him, uncertainty flickering in her expression. Malik continues, "My father dreamed of this. He never got the chance to see it. But I did, and I will not be questioned for what I've earned." A hush falls over the room. The weight of Malik's words presses on every listener. Gloria stands near the wall, her eyes shining with pride. A reporter asks, "Why do you think this keeps happening?" Malik meets his gaze. "Because the rules change depending on who's at the door. That stops now." Holloway shifts in his seat, his confidence slipping. The board members exchange looks, some nodding, others avoiding Malik's eyes. Malik rests his hand on the deed, steady and sure. This isn't about paperwork. It's about dignity. It's about being believed for the first time. The cameras capture the moment. Malik's calm, the deed's shine, Holloway's unraveling composure. The old facade of doubt begins to crumble, replaced by something undeniable. The room is still, the power dynamic unmistakably changed. Holloway rises from his seat, shoulders stiff. He approaches the microphone, the room watching every step. He clears his throat, voice rough. I thought I was just doing my job." The words hang, brittle. He glances at Malik, then at the board, searching for support. A reporter leans forward, pen poised. "Officer, what made you suspicious?" Holloway hesitates, eyes darting. It was late. You don't expect. He stops, realizing the weight of every word. The audience shifts, some arms folded, some brows raised. Rourke sits near the wall, her jaw clenched. She looks away, unable to meet his gaze. Malik stands silent, gaze steady, letting Holloway's struggle fill the air. The board members exchange, uneasy glances. One drops his glasses, the clatter echoing in the stillness. Holloway's hand trembles as he grips the podium. I never meant to. He stops again, voice faltering. I see now. I see it was wrong. His admission is quiet, almost swallowed by the room's tension. A journalist in the front row scribbles notes, her lips pressed tight. Gloria stands. By the door, her arms crossed, watching Holloway's composure slip. Malik doesn't move, his calm presence a silent rebuke. Holloway looks at him, searching for forgiveness, but finds only resolve. The crowd murmurs, the shift in energy unmistakable. The badge on Holloway's chest feels heavier, his authority shrinking under the lights. He steps back, shoulders slumped, the microphone left, swinging. The boardroom is quiet, the balance of power changed. A reporter in the front row tightens, her grip on a blue pen, knuckles pale. Her notebook is filled with quick notes. Stopped 3 times this year. Same officer. No apology. She glances up, eyes flicking from Holloway's bowed head to Malik's steady stance at the podium. Her colleague leans over, whispering, You running this tonight? She nods, jaw set. It's time. Her phone buzzes with messages from the newsroom. Get a quote. We need this lead. She ignores them, gaze locked on the unfolding scene. Malik's words echo in her mind. It's about being believed the first time. She remembers her own late-night walks home, the way security guards watched her, the questions that always followed. She scribbles a final note, then texts her editor, Running the story now. Her thumb hovers over send, heart pounding. She glances at Holloway, who won't meet her eyes, and at Malik, who stands tall, unflinching. The boardroom is tense, every breath measured. A board member coughs, breaking the quiet. The reporter's pen taps the page, a steady beat in the charged air. She hits send. The newsroom alert dings, a signal that the story is out. Her colleague gives a small nod, respect in his eyes. Malik catches her gaze, a silent exchange of understanding. The reporter's fist loosens, pen dropping to her lap. She sits back, knowing her words will reach thousands tonight. The boardroom feels different now. Truth has been spoken, and the world outside is already listening. The CEO stands, voice low. We need to vote. Board members glance at each other, uncertainty flickering. One clears his throat, raising his hand. Another follows, her eyes on the table. Slowly, arms lift around the room, some with conviction, others with hesitation. The motion passes, the decision final. Holloway stares at the floor, his badge dull under the harsh lights. Malik remains at the podium, expression unreadable. A janitor pauses in the hallway, mop in hand, watching through the glass. He nods once, a small gesture of support. The CEO announces, effective immediately, new anti-bias measures will be implemented. Officer Holloway is suspended pending review. The words settle over the room, heavy but necessary. A board member wipes his brow, relief and regret mingling in his features. Another scribbles notes, lips pressed tight. Rourke glances at Malik, then away, her shoulders tense. Gloria stands near the door, arms folded, a faint smile breaking through. Malik meets her eyes, acknowledging the moment. The janitor resumes his work, mop gliding across the floor. The boardroom quiets, the shift in power unmistakable. Malik steps down from the podium, folder in hand, moving with quiet confidence. The CEO nods at him, respect in his gaze. Thank you, Mr. Turner. Malik replies, Thank you for listening. The vote is done, but the impact lingers. Heads bow in reflection, hands lower with the weight of change. The room feels altered, History rewritten in a single afternoon. Outside, the building seems brighter, as if the world itself is exhaling. Inside, a new chapter begins. Holloway sits rigid at a side table, eyes locked on the envelope in front of him. The chief slides it across, voice flat. "You're suspended, effective immediately." Holloway's hand trembles as he picks up the letter, the paper whispering as he unfolds it. His badge sits heavy on the table, untouched. Malik walks past, briefcase in hand. Their eyes meet for a heartbeat. Holloway tries to speak, but the words catch in his throat. Malik gives a small nod, not of forgiveness, but finality. The elevator bell dings softly in the hall. Rourke stands by the window, arms crossed, watching the city below. She glances back at Holloway, sympathy flickering in her eyes before she turns away. The chief gathers his files, clearing his throat. "You'll be contacted about next steps." Holloway's fingers curl around the letter, knuckles white. He stares at the words, reading them twice, 3 times, as if they might change. The room is quiet, except for the faint hum of the air vent. A board member slips out, offering Malik a handshake in the corridor. Malik accepts, his grip firm. Gloria waits by the door, relief on her face. She nods at Malik, gratitude unspoken. Holloway stands, shoulders slumped, letter clutched in his fist. He leaves the badge behind, its shine dulled by the overhead lights. The door swings shut behind him, a soft click marking the end. Malik watches him go, then turns to the window. The city feels different now, the weight of old habits lifting. Change has started, one page at a time. TV screens flicker in offices, living rooms, and corner diners across the city. Malik's face fills the frame, his voice calm, steady. The headline scrolls beneath him in bold letters, "Owner demands change." Clips roll security footage, the press conference, the moment the deed is held high. A teenager in a hoodie pauses his video game, remote in hand, watching Malik speak. His mother sits beside him, pride in her eyes. "See that?" "He did what he had to," she whispers, squeezing his shoulder. At a late-night diner, a cook wipes his hands on his apron, glancing up at the TV. "About time," he mutters to a waitress who nods, eyes never leaving the screen. In a boardroom, employees gather around a laptop, the news streaming live. Gloria stands in the back, arms folded, a smile breaking through as Malik's words echo, "Dignity should never be questioned. Not here, not anywhere." The chyron flashes again. Policy overhaul announced. A reporter's voiceover details. The new measures? The suspension. The promise of accountability. Holloway sits in his apartment, lights off. The TV's glow casting long shadows. He watches Malik's image, the badge on the table beside him, silent and cold. Malik's final words play. This is only the beginning. The city seems to pause, listening. The camera lingers on Malik's face, resolute and unshaken. The segment ends, but the story ripples outward across screens, through neighborhoods, into homes where trust was once a stranger. A new headline scrolls. Community reacts. The world is watching, and this time, it won't look away. Malik stands at the head of a long table, new policy documents spread before him. He picks up a pen, pausing as the board members watch. For a moment, he remembers his father's empty hands, how they shook after the cuffs came off, how they reached for Malik in reassurance. He steadies himself, pen poised above the signature line. The room is silent, anticipation thick. Gloria stands nearby, her breath held. A board member clears his throat, but no one speaks. Malik's hand moves, the pen gliding across the page. The ink flows, bold and final. He signs his name, the flourish, confident. The board collectively exhales, tension easing. The document is passed down the table, each member adding their signature, the sound of pens scratching like distant rain. Gloria smiles, pride shining in her eyes. "It's done," she says quietly. Malik looks at the finished policy, then at the faces around him. This isn't just a rule, it's a promise. His voice is soft but unwavering. A board member nods, sliding the document into a folder. "We'll make it public today." Malik replies, "Let's make sure it means something." The pen clicks shut, a sound that marks the end of an old chapter. The boardroom feels lighter, as if a burden has been set down. Malik gathers his things, glancing once more at the signed policy. He catches Gloria's eye, sharing a silent moment of victory. As he leaves the room, the city outside seems brighter. The promise of change is no longer just words on paper. It's real, signed and set in motion. Holloway steps into the hallway, uniform rumpled, badge clutched in his fist. Photographers crowd the exit, flashes popping as he lowers his head and pushes through. The weight of the badge is different now, no longer a symbol of pride, but a reminder of what's been lost. A black officer stands by the door, arms folded, gaze unreadable. Holloway hesitates, searching for words, but none come. The officer gives a single nod approval, not comfort, just acknowledgement of the moment. Holloway moves on, shoulders hunched. Rain falls outside, soaking his shirt as he steps onto the sidewalk. He doesn't bother to shield himself. Reporters shout questions, but Holloway keeps walking, eyes fixed on the ground. The building behind him glows, lobby lights bright against the gloom. Inside, Malik watches from the window, hands in his pockets. He sees Holloway's figure shrink in the distance, the badge now just a piece of metal in a clenched hand. Gloria joins Malik, her voice low. "It's over." Malik shakes his head. "It's the start." Holloway turns the corner, shoes splashing through puddles. The city feels colder, every step heavier. He glances back once, the building's lights blurred by rain. The badge slips from his hand, landing in a gutter with a dull clink. He doesn't stop to pick it up. The world moves on, leaving him behind. Malik turns from the window, the office quiet. Change has come. Not with noise, but with the quiet end of an era. Holloway sits alone at a corner table, steam curling from a paper cup, barely touches. The morning rush weaves around him. Baristas call out names, customers laugh, chairs scrape the floor. His phone buzzes with news alerts, his name in every headline. He scrolls, face drawn, thumb pausing on a photo of Malik at the podium. A barista glances his way, then looks past him calling, "Order for Sam." Holloway waits, but his name is never called. He watches others collect their drinks, exchanging smiles and small talk. No one meets his eyes. The badge that once drew respect now sits at the bottom of his pocket, heavy and useless. A woman at the next table recognizes him, her eyes narrowing. She whispers to her friend, who glances over, then looks away. Holloway shifts in his seat, suddenly aware of every gesture, every averted gaze. He tries to focus on his coffee, but the warmth doesn't reach him. A group of teenagers enters, laughter echoing as they pass. One boy pauses, staring for a moment before moving on. Holloway's shoulders tense, shrinking into his coat. The barista wipes down a table nearby, never acknowledging him. The world keeps moving, his presence barely a ripple. He sips his coffee, the taste bitter. Outside, the city is alive with possibility, but Holloway feels invisible, set apart by the quiet verdict of the room. He gathers his things, leaving the cup half full. No one notices when he slips out the door, the bell chiming softly behind him. For the first time, he understands what it means to be on the outside, looking in. Malik steps through the buildings. Front doors, the morning sun spilling across polished floors. The security guard at the desk looks up, offering a genuine smile. "Good morning, Mr. Turner." Malik nods, a quiet gratitude in his eyes. Staff in the lobby pause, acknowledging him with respectful nods and warm greetings. He walks past a group of new hires, their voices hushed as they watch him pass. One whispers, "That's the owner," awe in her tone. Malik's stride is steady, his presence no longer questioned, no longer shadowed by suspicion. The marble beneath his feet gleams, reflecting his image back with each step. Where there was once tension, now there's ease. The receptionist, Tasha, waves from her desk. "Welcome back, sir." Malik smiles, pausing to thank her before continuing toward the elevators. A maintenance worker, mop in hand, steps aside, offering a respectful nod. Malik returns it, remembering every late night, every time he was watched instead of welcomed. Today the building feels different. The air is lighter. The atmosphere changed. He enters the elevator, doors closing behind him. Inside, he exhales, shoulders finally relaxed. The ride-up is quiet, but the shift is unmistakable. He's not just seen, he's recognized, respected, and valued. As the elevator doors open on his floor, Malik steps out, greeted by sunlight streaming through the windows. He pauses, taking in the view, the city alive and full of promise. For the first time, Malik feels the building is truly his, a place of belonging, not just ownership. Holloway walks home, collar turned up against the wind. The street is busy, neighbors, out for morning errands. He spots Mrs. Jensen, who once waved from her porch, now turning away, pretending to check her mailbox. A father with a stroller crosses to the opposite curb, glancing back just once before hurrying on. Holloway slows, noticing the pattern. Every familiar face avoids his gaze. A teenager from the next building nods to someone else, skipping over. Holloway, as if he's not there. The distance is deliberate, not hostile, but firm, a quiet boundary drawn in the space between. At the corner, two old friends chat, laughter echoing. One sees Holloway and falls silent, shifting his weight, then resumes the conversation in a lower voice. The message is clear. The welcome he once took for granted is gone. He passes a group of kids playing hopscotch. Their parents call them closer, eyes following Holloway until he's out of sight. He feels the weight of every averted glance, every step that widens the gap. A delivery driver nods politely but doesn't stop to chat. Holloway's footsteps sound louder than usual, the city's energy moving around him, not with him. He reaches his building, pausing at the door. The world outside keeps moving, but he stands still, realizing trust isn't easily rebuilt. The verdict isn't shouted, it's lived, day after day, in the quiet choices people make. He lets himself inside, the door closing softly behind him. The street outside is vibrant, but for Holloway, it's never felt more distant. Holloway unlocks his mailbox, the metal door creaking open. Envelopes spill out, some addressed, others anonymous. He sorts through them, hands unsteady. One is scrawled with a single word, "Listen." Another, a child's drawing. Two hands, one dark, one light, clasped together. He pauses, tracing the crayon lines with his thumb. A typed letter reads, "You got what you deserved." The words cold and final. Another envelope contains a folded note. People can change if they want to. Holloway sits on the buildings, steps, reading each message, the morning sun warming his back but not easing the ache in his chest. A neighbor passes, glancing at the pile of mail, then away. Holloway's phone buzzes with news alerts, his name still in the headlines. He pockets the phone, focusing on the letters. Some sting, others offer a sliver of hope. The mix is overwhelming, a reckoning delivered in ink and paper. He finds a postcard. From an old friend. "Remember who you were before the badge." Holloway closes his eyes, the words settling deep. He gathers the letters, holding them close, unsure what to do next. A child's voice echoes from across the street, laughter ringing out. Holloway looks up, watching the world move on. The letters, in his hands, are proof. Judgment is no longer whispered. It arrives, unfiltered, every day. He stands, tucking the notes into his coat, carrying the weight of each one. The door closes behind him. The message is a reminder that redemption, if it comes, will be earned, not given. Malik walks through the lobby, sunlight streaming across the floor. New hires gather near the reception desk. Their voices bright, laughter easy. A young woman with braids jokes with a colleague, her smile wide. The security guard, now part of a diverse team, greets each person by name, his tone warm and welcoming. Tasha hands out orientation packets, her confidence unmistakable. "You'll find your badges inside. No more waiting at the door," she says, grinning. The group nods, relief and excitement mingling in their faces. Malik pauses, watching the scene unfold. He catches the eye of a new employee who offers a shy wave. Malik returns it, feeling the energy in the room shifted lighter. The building, once heavy with suspicion, now feels open, safe. A maintenance worker wheels a cart past, whistling a tune. The security cameras pan the lobby, their presence no longer a threat, but a quiet promise of safety for everyone. Malik nods at the guard, who gives a thumbs up in return. Gloria steps out of the elevator, clipboard in hand, and calls out, "Welcome, everyone, to your new beginning." The group applauds, the sound echoing through the space. Malik stands back, pride swelling in his chest. The air is different now, charged with hope, free from fear. He knows the work isn't finished, but today the doors are open to all. He moves toward the elevators, the lobby alive with possibility. Every step forward is a reminder. Real change isn't loud, but it's lasting. Stacks of new training manuals line the conference table, bold letters across the cover. Assume dignity, not danger. Malik stands at the front, watching as staff file in, curiosity and hope on their faces. Tasha distributes the manuals, her posture proud. Gloria welcomes everyone, her voice clear and strong. Malik opens the session. This isn't just a policy, it's a commitment. Every person who walks through our doors deserves respect, no exceptions. He gestures to the manuals. Read it, know it, live it. A young employee flips through the pages, pausing at a section titled, "Every Voice Matters." He glances at Malik, nodding. Another staff member, an older man, quietly underlines a passage about accountability, his lips pressed together in thought. Tasha addresses the group, her tone firm. "If you see something wrong, speak up. We're all responsible." The room is quiet, the message settling in. Gloria adds, "This is about more than avoiding mistakes. It's about making this place better for everyone." She looks around, meeting each gaze. Malik closes the manual, his voice steady. "We're not erasing the past, but we are choosing a new future, one where dignity is the standard." The staff nod, some solemn, some relieved. The manuals are tucked under arms, carried out as more than just paper. They're a promise. As the room empties, Malik lingers, watching the last manual leave the table. The building feels lighter, the shift real. Change, once just a hope, now has roots. Malik stands by his office window, city lights flickering in the dusk. He watches people move below, some rushing, some strolling, all with their own stories. He lets out a slow breath, memories rising, doors that never opened, faces that doubted, moments he almost gave up. His reflection in the glass is older, steadier, but the determination in his eyes is unchanged. He speaks softly, voice steady. For every door that closed, another opened. Sometimes it took years. Sometimes it took everything I had. He glances at his father's photo on the shelf, the edges worn, but the smile strong. This time I hold the key. He turns, surveying. His office. The signed policy on his desk, the manuals stacked neatly, the sunlight warming the space. He remembers the first time he walked these halls, the weight of every state, the questions that followed him. Now, those same halls echo with greetings, respect, and belonging. Malik's phone buzzes with a message. "Thank you for making this possible." He smiles, replying, "We did it together." He pockets the phone, feeling the truth of it settle in his chest. He steps away from the window, shoulders relaxed. The city outside is alive with promise. Malik knows the work isn't finished. There will always be more to do. But tonight, he stands in a place of his own making, surrounded by the proof that change is possible. He turns off the lights. The office, bathed in twilight. As he closes the door behind him, his words linger in the quiet. This time, I hold the key. Malik walks through the lobby at dusk, the polished floor reflecting his every step. Staff wave as he passes. A maintenance worker gives a thumbs up. Tasha smiles from the front desk. The new security guard nods, posture relaxed. Malik's stride is easy, no longer shadowed by doubt or suspicion. He pauses by the entrance, watching, the flow of people coming and going. A young intern greets him, eyes bright. "Evening, Mr. Turner." Malik nods, warmth in his reply. "Have a good night." The words feel natural, unforced, a simple exchange built on respect. Outside, the city glows, headlights streaking past. Malik stands for a moment, taking it in. The building alive, the air light. He glances at the marble, seeing his reflection clear and unbroken. For years he walked these halls as a question mark. Now he is the answer. A group of employees gathers. By the elevator, laughter rising. Malik smiles, remembering the weight he used to carry. He's not just the owner now, he's the standard, the example, the proof that belonging is possible. He steps outside, doors gliding shut behind him. The lobby remains bright, welcoming. Malik looks back once, pride steady in his chest. No one questions his place anymore. The building, once a fortress of doubt, is now a home for everyone who enters. Malik walks into the evening, fully seen, fully himself. The reflection in the glass is no longer just an image, it's a legacy.